Well, Chris, welcome back to Action Reloaded. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank
Your
you.
latest kick-ass movie coming out is Lights Out. What attracted you to this initial script?
Uh, Look, I've been obviously a fan of the '80s movies and '80s genre my whole life. Obviously, with Kickboxer and Roadhouse. I mean, all the movies. And so when Chad Law came to me with this script, also with the same producer of Section 8, we had just finished wrapping Section 8, and the producer was like, we got another script from Chad. It's called Lights Out. It's very kind of Lionheart, Roadhouse kind of throwback. You want to go back to back and shoot it in a couple months. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Let me read it. So I read it. Great script, exactly for that reason. I had not jumped into the fight genre movies. Like I've done action things like that, but a fight movie. So I think what really attracted me to was the challenge of trying to make a contemporary '80s fight movie. You know what I mean? I think that was a challenge. Like, how do I make a cool contemporary character-driven fight movie, which was my goal. So yeah.
Oh, you succeeded. Um,
I,
what's surprising about the whole casting? People are going to expect to see Scott Adkins pulling out some undisputed moves. Was it tempted to sort of try and get any of that in there?
it was. We talked, and it's like not just Scott Bell. We talked about what the movie was going to be from the beginning of what this was, and I think I talked about this. So funny story, when I first started editing and things like that back in 2007, just to kind of make ends meet, I would edit these local movies out here. They were called felony fights, and they were just underground DVDs that people were selling, and they would pay ex-cons that just got out of jail like $100, $100 to fight each other. And I was like, this is just like this movie, man. And they weren't martial artists. They weren't. Some of them had some skills and maybe boxed or trained this, that, and the other, but they weren't slick martial artists. And so I felt like, and then doing current YouTube looks, I mean research for stuff, and you find, look, YouTube, man, you find a bunch of these underground fights all over the country, all over, just people betting on fights, and they're never slick fighters. So I thought that the idea for this was to keep it more like brawlers,
Yeah.
and Frank and I, we talked about Snatch, we talked about Fight Club, we talked about movies like that, where it's just you're just having two guys with some skill go at it, as opposed to very highly stylized choreography like Undisputed or John Wick or these kind of movies, which I adore. But I felt this one, to keep it feel like gritty and grounded, it had to be a little bit more brawler.
And
So that was, we try to make sure.
Was Frank Grillo always sort of front runner for the lead role?
Yeah, for sure. This was like tailor. I wouldn't say it's tailor made for Frank, but I think it's perfect for him.
Yeah, it is definitely is one of his more better roles he's had in a while anyway, and it's always good to see Frank chew up the screen in an action movie.
Yeah.
You mentioned Roadhouse as well, and I just couldn't help but think, well, looking at the picture there on my background, that's that's like Dalton. That's what I picture Dalton looking like now, and that's sort of what Jake Gyllenhaal looks like for his role as Dalton.
Like, man, when I saw the trailer come out, I was like, wow, we're gonna get a lot of comparisons. It's like the indie version of Roadhouse. Like I saw the trailer, I was like, man, Lights Out is like the indie. It's like we shot Lights Out 2 years ago. It's like we didn't even know Roadhouse was coming out. We didn't even know Roadhouse was getting a reboot. So when people started talking about Roadhouse, like after that, we're like, well, it'll be good for us because we'll be like Roadhouse will be the big budget studio version.
But you have Frank Grillo and Scott Adkins in the same movie, and I think someone's going to correct me on it, but I think this is the first time we've had them paired together.
Yeah, it is the first time. They've never done anything before together.
What more could you want? Because Scott's brilliant in the action genre. There's no doubt about it.
He's
Frank
he's
Grillo
the
as
best.
well.
Yeah.
He's brilliant when it comes to the action genre. So you got two sort of heavyweights there, which are going to be big sales for this movie. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I want to say it was the producer's idea to do that, but I also think that we had just come off of, again, Section 8 together with Scott. Scott's a good friend. He's a good friend of the writer as well. And I think having him come, when the press started coming out that this movie was going to go down, we were like, oh man, people are going to be mad because they think Frank and Scott are going to fight. And I was like, well, in the script, it was always Scott was always the buddy that kind of comes in the 11th hour and helps save the day, and it was always that way. And so obviously we couldn't say that in the press, but we hope that Scott, look, Scott is such a great actor and a great martial artist and a great fighter. Like anything he's in, any scenes that he's in, he's great.
Yeah.
So we thought that this one was like something out of left field that comes out, and his character comes out. It was like a really great guest starring, like a guest special appearance, kind of thing.
And the most spoilery thing I'm gonna say about his character, right, is his name is called Reaper. That just sums it up. That's the most badass name he's had.
Yeah.
You couldn't beat that. Going on for like your movies recently, Section 8 highlighted it. This one highlights it again. Your casts are getting bigger and bigger. What's it like working with so many heavy hitters?
Oh, it's look, obviously it's a dream as a director to keep working with such great talent, and it's like not only is it great because a lot of these most of them are people that you've really admired and grown up on or really admire now as you're just like have been fans of everyone, but it's also just, it really helps elevate the material,
Right.
so no matter what you're doing, it's all good. I mean, they're always phenomenal at what they do because they're the pro of pros, their professionalism, their skill level, their talent level is just next level. So it really helps elevate the pictures of, well, I mean, the movies of what we're doing.
And you're still working with Paul Sloan after all these years. It's
Yeah,
brilliant, man.
he's my boy, he's my boy, and we all love him, and he's great in this, man.
It's probably one of his like most sort of how would you put it? Maybe hateful roles today, but
Yeah,
he's playing a character that you just know he needs his comeuppance.
yeah, for sure.
Same with Jane King. Like her
Yeah.
character, you brought a whole new side out to her there, man.
Yeah, well, look, I don't think anybody cares how she meets her end. You know what I mean? I think at the end we're like, hey, well, nobody feels bad about it.
Yeah, she played her cards from the very start.
She's great. It's from I've had a lot of interviews today so far, and they've all said her too. I mean, she's nobody was expecting Jamie to be such an impact as a villain. Because I always think Dermot, um, Dermot Mulrooney. I was gonna say Dylan McDermott, man. That's because I just somebody said a joke about that the other day, so it's like in my brain. But Dermot, I don't see him as the villain. I always saw him as the opportunist that gets caught up in the middle of this whole thing.
Yeah.
But Jamie is for sure the villain, and so is Paul. So
And then the movie here, it comes across as like an ultra budget movie. Loved I loved it. It's one of the movies I would just stick on, watch again, because there's always bits you miss in movies anyway, but this one
nice.
here was brilliant. Like what was your shooting schedule on this? Because it seems like you could shoot for days on this one.
We didn't.
No,
Oh no, we didn't. It was very, very tight.
you wouldn't think it. You'd think this
Yeah,
was like one of them ultra budget ones. Like,
not even. No, not even.
man, you need to get where the budget's at.
You're telling me,
Directors,
buddy.
yeah, Hollywood
I'm
is
working on
missing
it.
out.
I'm working on it because believe me, the person that does it first is gonna go, whoa, whoa, whoa.
So is this a movie you just plan? Is it a one and done for you, or would you like to reteam and see the where the story can go? Because it's very open. I
Yeah, I
thought
guess
it was a
so.
Rambo ending.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We'll see. I'm always open to further talks. I mean, it's one of those things where, I don't know. I guess I never, like somebody had mentioned it before. I'm like, I've never had the opportunity to do a sequel to anything I've ever done. So there's definitely a few that I wish I could have. But hey man, you never know.
Because there's very few directors as well. And you've sort of just shoved Grillo into the place he belongs, and I don't need him slipping back because I'm one of them like people that likes to collect people's movies and stuff. So I've got every Adkins movie, every Longer movie, and Grillo's one has got this space, and I'm like, I don't even like half of these movies.
Right, 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 right. Yeah.
So I need like so you need to keep. you need to keep Lights Out going on, you know, make it the Fast and
Yeah, no.
Furious, Lights Out 10.
Like, yeah, keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah.
So what is next for you after this movie? Because man, you're going on the up. So where's next?
Chad and I have another great action script. There's a few. We have a sci-fi action thing, which is really cool, like The Last of Us kind of thing, and we have a really awesome Christmas action movie, and then I have the um Dreyfuss shark movie coming out in the summer. So Richard Dreyfuss's Return to the Genre. It's called Into the Deep. That comes out in the summer. It's a great action thriller. And then I just signed on to do this movie called The Shit List that shoots in Indonesia at the end of the year. It's like Kill Bill meets The Raid.
Oh, that should be unreal. As
Oh,
cast
it's
and
gonna be.
started on that.
I don't know. We'll see.
Ah.
We'll see.
And I cannot wait to see what's next from you. You are just kicking ass. Every time I speak to you, you've been kicking ass somewhere or another. So keep kicking ass.
Thanks, man. We're trying.
And I really can't wait for the audience to get a hold of Lights Out
Me,
because
me too. I'm dying. I'm dying to see what they think.
I know it can't come in quick enough.
Yeah.
I'm always looking online just in case someone out there has posted something about it. Like, I
Yeah.
really want to hear other people's takes on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. But look, it's gonna be interesting. But the interviews today have been good. Everybody's had the same exact vibe. So I'm like, I hope that's the vibe. So it's good.
It's definitely your Saturday movie, your beers, your grub, your boys, and it's one of them movies you could cheer to.
Nice.
It's proper old school, you know. Like you said, it's got that Roadhouse vibe, but then for people who are also wanting to know if you're Van Damme fans, it has that AWOL vibe going on, you
Yeah.
know. And Mackay Fife is brilliant, and he's sort of like the guy that brings Grillo into everything, which
Yeah.
makes Mackay's always been brilliant, so you can't fault him there. And then you've got Adkins, who he's on a streak at the minute. Um, One More Shot
Yep.
was brilliant. And then you've got Dermot and Jamie. I near said Dylan next to you.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be good.
Dylan McDermott. That's what he's gonna be after we called now. You've renamed him.
Yeah. Dylan McDermott. You
Well,
think it's so funny. He gets it all the time.
see if I'm ever reaching out to interview him and I put Dylan, I'm gonna have to put that one on you.
Right.
Christian, as always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, man.
Cheers, brother. Appreciate it.
And I'll be back in touch with you when this movie hits because I want to know what you think of everyone's reaction. And then I want first scoop if you're going to do a sequel.
Okay, you got it.
Right. Take care, Christian, and see
All
you
right.
later.
Cheers.